All right, I want to turn now to some breaking news. In New York, Democrats have just passed a massive restrictions on concealed carry in the wake of the Supreme Court's decision to expand gun rights and allow the Second Amendment to exist in places like New York. After passing both chambers in a special session today, Governor Hochul signed into law moments ago a measure banning concealed carry pretty much everywhere. Listen to this list.
We are creating a definitive list of sensitive locations where individuals will not be able to carry firearms: restaurants, bars, public transportation, subway, buses, and in Times Square.
All right, that's just the start. Now, that list went on and on and on. This effectively neuters concealed carry in a city where crime is rampant. And now, in order to get a permit to carry in the few places that are left, you better be ready to fork over your social media history. Let's see if a lawsuit ensues. Potential firearm owners will be asked to divulge all social media accounts maintained over the past 3 years, as well as provide references attesting to their good moral character. My next guest will get plenty of those references. He is the Republican nominee to the governor's race in New York City. He is going to be taking on Governor Hochul. Congressman Lee Zeldin, welcome. What is your take on the new gun laws in response to the Supreme Court decision in New York?
I think it's terrible, and here we are going into Independence Day weekend, and this is the gift to law-abiding New Yorkers. I think that we need to separate a law-abiding New Yorker who wants to safely and securely carry a firearm for solely their self-defense and the criminals who want to carry firearms illegally and commit offense after offense after offense, harming others. And then because of the system in New York, they keep ending up back on the streets. Now, what they're doing with this action today up in Albany is targeting the law-abiding New Yorker. I don't think they're making New York more safe. They're making New York less safe. They're creating these locations as targets, because now, as a criminal, if you wanted to carry out one of your acts of targeting someone with an illegal firearm, you know that you're likely to encounter less resistance, because the only people who care about these laws passed today are the law-abiding citizens.
So, if for people just to know and put it in layman's terms, the Supreme Court looked at this and said the Second Amendment's really been taken away from places like New York, and it really concerns 6 other cities. You can have a concealed carry permit, but in a 2-page insert, Justice Kavanaugh came out and said, listen, name some places to restrict to bring guns, like courthouses, like schools, like Times Square, and then just name it. But they've simply gone over the top. Don't you think this invites another lawsuit?
Yeah, exactly. It's almost as if they saw what the Supreme Court did, and then they wanted to go even further than they went earlier. In a way, they just went even worse than what the Supreme Court just said was unconstitutional. So now they are inviting another lawsuit. And now you're wasting the judicial system's time, because it's going to have to go through that entire process, and the Supreme Court is going to have to decide again. And it's showing a lack of respect for the rule of law and a lack of respect for the Constitution.
$35 million. $35 million will be set aside to make sure New York is a welcome place for abortions. That was also put forward by the governor today, as she brought that up, talking about different places to provide abortions for states that might be banning it for the most part. What's your reaction? We need $35 million to have more abortions?
No, the reason why Governor Hochul is pushing this is because she doesn't want to talk about the issues that matter most to New Yorkers. This state is going in the wrong direction. She doesn't want to talk about crime and public safety. She doesn't want to talk about people struggling to afford to survive in New York, whether it's getting your own home or it's the cost of gas and just the overall cost of living. So she's trying to find some other way to activate her base, because they don't really like her. New Yorkers have not had a very good first impression of Governor Hochul. There's a lack of excitement, enthusiasm. They don't think that she's doing a good job. So she's trying to put fear into people on the issue of abortion and try to divide people. And I think this isn't about being pro-life versus pro-choice. She's going to the extent that this is pro-abortion. She's trying to go on a national scene to be the chief promoter of it, as if it's a great thing that more and more people should consider getting.
Congressman, I did want to hear this suggestion that you just made today about where abortions could be taking place. Tell me if you can get behind this.
Mr. President, we'd ask that you consider your ability to use federal facilities. What am I talking about? Veterans hospitals, military bases, and other places where the federal government controls the jurisdiction in some of the states that are hostile to women's rights, and make sure that those services can be available to other women.
Military bases, is that a good move?
No, absolutely not. And it's really, it's sad that this is somebody who really at this point, desperate to get a 4-year term as governor this November, is trying to get this creative. You have this opportunity. The President of the United States is sitting there in front of you. You can advocate for whatever you want to advocate for. And you're not advocating for anything that is why New York leads the entire country in population loss. You have these forums, and you could be making asks for help, for resources, for leadership, for competency, and you're putting all of that aside, you know, just to grandstand and try to, again, activate your base and instill fear upon them.
Lee, you won the nomination. A lot of people say you have the best shot of a Republican since George Pataki actually won and beat Mario Cuomo. What is it going to take for you to beat Lieutenant Governor, now Governor Hochul?
We're all in for the next 4 months. We're going to be campaigning our tails off all across this state. It's not just about Republicans and conservatives, but independents, Democrats, they're disenfranchised Democrats. If you are concerned about rising energy costs, well, then let's reverse the ban on the safe extraction of natural gas. One-party Democratic rule wants to ban all gas hookups on new construction statewide. Let's repeal cashless bail. She says we need more data. Oh, by the way, when people were asking her the question yesterday about this new legislation she's passing, she said she doesn't need any data in order to act. I say let's fire Alvin Bragg. He's refusing to enforce the law. Kathy Hochul says he just got there, cut him some slack. He's doing his job. So the contrast is stark. We need to bring that message to New Yorkers of all stripes and all counties in New York and win this race to save New York.
He's a 4-time congressman. He does know New York. He's represented a very purple district in Suffolk County for 4 different terms. Lee Zeldin, best of luck.
Thank you, Brian.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.